I think it's the potential. It's like any day in our job that you never know what you're going to find. So it might be something exciting in a one-to-one, or it might be somebody that you meet who you think has an interesting story. I met one client at a literary festival, Sarah Lean, a dog called Homeless, and we were outside and we were in the sunshine, and something about the way she was talking about her book that made me think that it would be a great book, just because I could tell that there was a sort of mind at work there. Um, and I asked her for the first, these are the sort of meetings that you can have at festivals. I asked her to tell me about her book, and she told me a little bit about it, and I kind of got a sense of the architecture to it. And then I asked if I could read some, and she said, I don't have anything here. And she gave me the first line of it, and the first line was, my name is Callie Louise Vischer, and I haven't spoken for 31 days. And I thought, well, that's a good first line. And what I didn't realise at the time is that that was all she'd written. She'd only written one line of it. So I met her at the festival, and then every couple of months I'd send her a message because I knew it sounded great, this book. And I knew there was something about her that I really liked. So I sent her a message every month, how's it going, how's it going? And finally, 6 months later, she delivered this masterpiece, A Dog Called Homeless. And that's what can happen at a festival. You know, you can just be outside in the sunshine and you meet somebody, you start chatting, and then, 6 months later, something, the book comes in. Or, even better if it's not 6 months late, even better if it's kind of 2 days later. But that's why I love festivals, because you meet people, and it's not very often that you get a huge number of talented writers, hardworking writers, unpublished writers in the same place. So, what's possible? That's why we all love it. That's why it's very exciting for us. I'd probably be a cook, a chef, because that's what I think. If it doesn't work out in books, if it goes, if then I'd be a chef, because that's what I did at university, and that's what I like doing, but actually that's what I do when I need to relax and I need to sort of feed my soul. So actually thinking it through, if I was a professional chef, I don't know if it would have that same, because actually most professional chefs, they don't cook at home. So I've said that and now I'm not sure, but it might be something in the catering industry. As an agent, essentially our job is to spot, to develop, to sell, and then to manage. And a day is taken up sometimes with, well, most days are taken up with elements of all of those things. So I might, on my way into work, I'll look at my submissions. In the evening, I'll look at my submissions. Possibly there's a book that's very exciting, and if I'm able to, I might clear an hour out of the diary. But actually, the 9 to 5 is about clients. What I do when I come into the office is about the people that I represent already. It's not so much about new talent. It's about, it's my commitment to the people that I already represent. So I don't spend that much time at work reading. But that is obviously an important part of our job, the finding, the talent spotting. So I'll look, on my way in, see if there's anything good. On my way home, possibly at lunch. Maybe there's something really exciting. Hope, that's great when it happens. But on the whole, it's selling. So it's pitching, talking about books, following up, negotiating contracts. I mean, a contract negotiation can take, particularly if it's the first contract for a publisher, it can take months to get everything as you want it to be for the future. And then it's managing, so decisions about what each of my authors should be doing next. Today, I field lots of opportunities. Is this going to serve them? Is this going to be good for them? One of the most exciting things that happens is the first deal, obviously. And the first deal, if you sell it competitively, if there's an auction, there's a lot of energy around it internationally. That's very exciting. The first deal is great because I kind of think what we do as agents is we're the first people other than friends, family, beta readers, were the first people in the business to stand up and say, this book is great. And so it comes to us, we might spend some time on it, and I send it out, and I send it out to maybe 5 publishers, maybe 15, maybe every single publisher. And we're the first person to say, stop what you're doing, this is brilliant. And I tend not to take on, I'm very selective about the clients that I take on, because I want to make sure that everything I take on, I sell. So I take a book on, I send it out, I say to these editors, this book is fantastic, and I want them to love it. And sometimes lots of them love it, and it's very exciting. You get an auction going, and sometimes it takes a year or 18 months or 2 years to sell a book, and there's one publisher that's in, and it's quite a modest amount. And actually, that's as satisfying as the big auction that ties up in a couple of weeks. The book that you love, that you've taken forever to sell for a modest amount of money, because it's a start, and it means that the author is in the game, they're in it. The book's going to come out, the first book, and then there's going to be another book, so they'll write another book, and it might be as hard to sell, or it might be loads easier to sell. But I love the first book. The first book's very exciting because you've worked together with the client, you have a relationship with them, you've put a lot in, you want to pick up the phone and say to them, this is happening. And that is a really great privilege, and it's really exciting to be that person who can say it's going to happen. So the first deal is great, but also, it's hard out there. It's really, we talk about the market, it's boring how we talk endlessly about how tough the market is, but it's true, it is hard to launch. It's hard to launch an author. So the first book is great, but you know what? I love the second deal and the third deal and the fourth deal just as much as I love the first deal, because it means that they're starting to claim their place in the market. It means that there is a career that's building. So I think that's probably, I think most agents would say that actually. It's getting on the phone and getting a great deal and presenting it to your client. And then, deal 2, deal 3, deal 5, deal 7. That's what you want, because you want a career for your clients. That's what we're here to do. Here to, for every author, their different needs, their different books, to try and get a career going for them. I mean, there are so many reasons to go to York, to go to a festival. The first one is people. It's simple really, but being on your own, in your shed, in your spare room, tapping away, every day, getting up at 5 so that you can achieve 3 hours writing before you go to work, not taking holidays so that you can write. This is what it takes very often, being on your own and putting your energy into that. And I think there's a lot to be said for meeting other people from all around the country who are doing exactly the same thing, and the possibility of finding friends, certainly, but also beta readers, people who are interested, people who understand, people who have intelligent points of view, who you might be able to talk about your work with, share your work with, feedback. I think there's a lot of value in having a good, intelligent beta reader. But also the workshops are great. And I think something that I've noticed happening in the last 5 years or so in the UK, and actually I think this is York's 4th or 5th, is it? Yeah, 5th, is that publishing, it's kind of a mysterious business. If you're a writer, you might not necessarily know how it works. And I think a conference takes the mystery away from it. There's anxiety about agents being closed, or agents being unfriendly, or agents being sort of gatekeepers who are kind of blocking work from publishers. And the same to be said for publishers as well. And I think what festivals show, which is reassuring, is actually, agents, publishers are keen to find new talent and help develop it and help break it out. And I think that's probably really reassuring. In the old days, if you looked at an agency website, a literary agency website, it was kind of quite often just one page, and it would say where to submit and possibly the names of the people who worked there, but it wasn't at all transparent. And I think we've changed now, and I think festivals have a part in that as well, just explaining what this business is about. I'm doing one-to-ones, I'm doing a panel, and then I'm doing a workshop about what I look for in a standout children's submission. So it's quite a full festival, and no doubt there will be a lot of one-to-ones.